the whole process, what's the anticipated timeline or time frame to complete this process? We know it's a working, it's work in progress, but do you have a kind of a general time frame?
Yeah, so our general time frame is from the time you actually do your intake, not the application, when you actually come in, meet with a caseworker, and from that point, when you actually meet with a caseworker to close out, actually acquisition of the property, it's definitely between 6 and 9 months.
So would you explain the kind of the general process?
Yeah. So the general process for the entire process is an application comes in. It's actually documented the day we get the application. We send out a letter of receipt directly to the applicant. From that point, we try to make a determination if that is the actual current owner, because it has to be a current owner, a title holder. The title has to be in that applicant's name. Otherwise there is some complications if it's not. Then after that, if there are no issues, there will be a follow-up phone call by the staff to ask some basic questions, take some information, and at that point they'll set a date for an actual intake process. At that point, a caseworker is assigned to that applicant. They will meet with that caseworker that will go through all of these forms and ask all these questions. Now, when an applicant gets that letter of receipt, on the back of that form there is a list of documents that we need the applicant to review and provide at the time of the intake. We want people to please pay close attention to that list.
So read the instructions?
Yes.
Read the list, look at both sides?
Read the instructions, read the list. Because it'll make things a lot easier when you actually come into the intake process. If we have everything in order, it's about a 45-minute process. But on average, we're trying to keep the intake appointments to no more than an hour. But but we're not going to stop you at an hour if there are issues that need to be addressed.
Sure.
We definitely, if you have all of your documents in order, it makes it easier to process the applicant.
So if someone's confused about that at that point in time and trying to go through that, what do you recommend?
Call us.
Just
call us.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. We're to help you through the process.
So you go through the application process, let's say it's complete, you got a full completeness, what's the next step after that?
The next step is the finance part.
Okay.
So once we actually get an applicant all the way through the eligibility part, and we have determined that that person is fully eligible, they will receive a letter from us stating that they are definitely eligible.
Okay.
Which is great, because that moves into the next step, which is for us a scoring process, and actually looking at the finance portion and making a determination for payment, to make an offer, and again the offer, the program is up to $230,000. That doesn't necessarily mean that you will get the $230,000 because we are actually going by 2017 real property tax value.
Okay.
So it has to have a value on the dwelling or the overall value as defined by the county real property tax office. And that's the value that we will be working with.
So they go through the process, they get an offer. Do they have to accept the offer?
No.
No.
This is a volunteer program. They can withdraw from the program at any time.
At any time, all the way up to
All
close,
the way
right?
up to closing,
Okay.
which is hopefully not, because we are trying to get people paid. But they have the opportunity to withdraw from the program at any time, all the way up to closing.
Excellent. I think it's important to underscore that this is a choice.
Yes.
Yeah, and folks have that choice all the way
Yeah.
through. And so they get the offer, this person says, I accept the offer. And what's the next step?
The next step is we pass them on to an escrow title company.
Okay.
And then we work directly with the escrow title company in making sure that everything is clear as far as liens or anything like that. One part of the program too, liens will be cleared out at some point. However, if you do have back taxes on your property with Hawaii County, applicants need to work with the real property tax office and create a payment plan.
Okay.
And they're more than willing to take whatever we can work out. As long as you're on the payment plan, you can remain eligible for the program.
That's a really good point. So if someone
Yes.
is in that position, the sooner they contact real
Correct.
property tax, the better. Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And then, so they're in escrow, and so usually with escrow, there's fees associated with that on closing, and oftentimes they're shared between, say, the buyer and the seller. How is this program working?
In this situation, we are different. The county will be covering all closing costs.
Okay, wow, so it's really a net to the person that we're doing the buyout
Yes.
for, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And if they owed something that was attached to the property, that would get taken care of through escrow?
Correct.
Okay, very good. And so then in escrow, are there any other critical steps that the applicant would need to be aware of?
At that point, no. But if they know they have issues, it's best they try to work it out with us in advance
Mhm.
so that we can be aware of it to make this a very smooth transaction. Our goal is to make this easy.